Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Tom.
It's time!
Live from the CSB studios in Westbury, New York.
It's the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Featuring co-host Kevin Dolan and the host that's been here since day one, Jerry Napoleonello.
On Zeno Radio and
on All Noise Radio.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show live on Zeno Radio, Cyberstation USA, All Noise Radio, Stitcher, and the Live 365 apps. I'm Jerry Napoleonello. He's Kevin Donlin. Thanks for deciding to spend your afternoon with us. What a great NBA All-Star weekend we had. We hope everyone had a great, fun-filled Valentine's Day and kept warm. The number to call, 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. But first, let's start off with the Tom and Jerry Sports Show 60-second summary.
That's right, Jerry. NBA All-Star Weekend was headlined by being Kobe Bryant's 18th and final All-Star game. All-Star Friday, we had the Rising Stars Challenge with Team USA beating Team Canada 157-154, with Zach LaVine taking home the MVP hardware with 30 points and 7 rebounds. All-Star Saturday, we had Karl Anthony Towns winning the skills competition, Klay Thompson beating out his teammate Steph Curry in the three-point contest, and Aaron Gordon getting snubbed in the dunk contest by Zach LaVine, who won his second straight. All-Star game was Sunday in a record-breaking game in many aspects, including the score, as the West scores a record-high 196, beating the East 196-173, with Russell Westbrook bringing home his second consecutive MVP.
Many whistles in All-Star play. Westbrook, he hammers it home. Russell Westbrook will put up 41 points.
Peyton Manning is back in the news, but not in the terms of his Super Bowl win or his career, but with allegations of a sexual assault dating back to 1996. Rangers beat the Flyers 3-1, and the Islanders are in action today in Brooklyn against the Red Wings. And I'm Kevin Donlin with your Tom and Jerry Sports Show 60-second summary, brought to you by Overtime. The game never ends.
So, how was your weekend?
Had a good one. It was nice.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Went to Mohegan Sun. It was very nice. Very nice place. I've never been there before.
Yeah, you know, I spent the weekend with the girlfriend. Valentine's Day was yesterday. Had a good one. It was a cold weekend. Cold weekend in New York.
Yeah, it was pretty cold. I'm not gonna lie. What, -7 went down there?
Yeah, it was serious.
Yeah.
But the NBA All-Star Weekend, it was a good one. One of the better ones in recent years. I mean, I haven't really watched lately because it gets to a point where the dunk contest. What haven't we seen? Really, there's nothing that you can't do that we haven't seen already. But you know what? They put on a show. Leading up to the championship for the dunk contest, I was bored. Like it was boring.
Of course it was. I mean, honestly, it's been boring since the Vince Carter days. I mean, that's just me personally. I mean, I'm one of those that, you want to see new dunks, but we're running out of ideas. I mean, when I officially stopped watching it was when I saw Blake Griffin dunk over a car. I mean, people were excited about it. I had no reason to be excited. I thought it was stupid, and I think you're dunking over a car. I don't care about that.
Yeah, but if he would have dunked over the actual, middle of the car, I would have said, that's amazing. But he jumped over the hood.
I don't even think that made a difference. I mean, I just think that they're trying so hard to find new ways.
Well, that's the thing.
There's just no more new ways of dunking. I mean, how many times am I going to see someone go through the legs or go behind the back or do a 360? I mean, I've seen this before. And, for the NBA, they really need to look themselves in the mirror and wonder if they need to, make way with that.
I do have to say...
It's just not the same effect that it used to be.
I do have to say it was the championship was fun to watch. It was probably one of the better ones, if not the best ones, probably since, like you said, the Vince Carter one, or even 1988.
It really hasn't been great.
No, I'm not saying that. But it was... And you know what? I'm the biggest critic on basketball. I think basketball for a while now has just been the lower tier sport of the four. To in my opinion, because I'm not big on the whole. Probably ever since Ray Allen, LeBron James, Chris Bosh. Dwayne Wade were all in Miami. after that whole thing, that's when I kind of like just got turned off of basketball, because honestly, you could go into a season right now, all right, for the last couple of years now, you could have picked out the finals. Or at least the final four.
It's always been like that in the NBA.
But
you ask anyone from
not,
back in the day. I mean, you could predict that the Celtics were going to the finals, or the Lakers were going to the finals, or the Bulls were going to the finals.
Yeah, but there was other teams that could.
I watched highlights.
But there was other teams that can compete with them.
I watched highlights from a game about a couple of years ago, and it was Michael Jordan and his Bulls back in, I think it was 1987, I want to say. So it was there in the beginning of Michael Jordan's career.
Yeah,
and he took on Larry Bird. And Larry Bird finished with like 36 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals. An unbelievable game for a playoff game for a player. And Michael Jordan had 63 points. That was the game that he broke the record for most points ever scored in a playoff game, let alone the most points ever given up by a Boston Celtics team ever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are the games that, you see from, even a long time ago that were just exciting and playoff atmosphere and just performances that are just unbelievable. Now, Steph Curry and what he's doing in the NBA these days is an exciting factor. I mean, we haven't seen a player that really has been able to shoot like that ever. It's been.
I mean, but did you see the last?
Been unbelievable.
Did you see the last shot of the All-Star game last night?
No.
Steph Curry was literally at half court. Seconds running down. Game was over already. And I don't know if someone told him to take the shot or not, but he ended up taking the shot and drilled it from half court. It was awesome.
He's doing that almost on a night-to-night basis. His three-point shooting is just unbelievable. He's able to shoot it from anywhere in the field.
We're gonna take a phone call right about now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the Tom and Jerry Sports
Hello?
Show. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is John from Queens, and I just want to say, let's go Mets. All right? Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Thanks, guys.
No problem. You obviously have something to cheer about. You got a great team over there, a great starting rotation, and you got Cespedes back, so that's definitely huge. I guess they wanted to hang up, but
well, they're always they're going to be in the mix as long as they have that pitching
no matter
rotation.
what.
And
absolutely.
when it comes down to it, is that right now there's they're in the talks. We're trying to sign Matt Harvey long term. Who was the question mark out of all those starters of the Mets signing right now? Matt Harvey was probably by far the biggest question mark of the bunch, and obviously I think the talks have heated up between the Mets and Matt Harvey. So, when it comes down to it, the Mets have that pitching staff. They're going to be effective. And they don't even need the best hitting because, let's be honest, they did not have overwhelming hitting last year. But I've always said it, in baseball, it's a sport where, you can always, you never know. Hitting can go on slumps. But pitching will almost never go on a slump, especially if you have consecutive starters that are effective on a day-to-day basis. And then they talked about this, and we talked about it over and over again. The New York Mets, when there was a point in the season, might have been like mid-July, they had over 3,000 pitches thrown over 90 miles per hour. That was by far, and I mean like oddly, by far,
it was way up there,
than anybody else in the major leagues. And I mean complete teams. We're talking the next team might have been at about 2,000 or 2,100.
Yeah.
They were significantly throwing the ball a lot harder and obviously
no doubt,
more
but
effectively.
I mean, just look at, you got Syndergaard, you got DeGrom. It's a great rotation. It really is.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't slump because pitching never slumps in this league. We've seen it day in and day out. We've seen teams like the Diamondbacks go out there with 2 effective starters and win an entire 7-game series using 2 effective starters. That's unbelievable.
And they have 5.
That's really unbelievable.
And then they're getting Zach Wheeler. Well, I mean, they have Bartolo Colon's probably going to be their 5th until Zach Wheeler gets back, and then
eventually he'll be their effective long reliever because this is a guy that could throw strikes, get innings up. Because obviously, when it comes down to it, and you can ask a Yankee fan any time of the week, you need the innings.
Absolutely.
You need these pitchers to throw the innings. And, for someone like Cologne, who can be ineffective for 3 or 4 innings, let's say on a bad start, which will probably be rare in itself with the 4 or 5 starters the New York Mets are going to be throwing out there this year. But
Absolutely.
obviously, we know baseball. We've watched baseball for years. Injuries play a part, especially in the National League as a pitcher when it comes to running the bases or swinging the bat. Anything can happen. So
No doubt.
the New York Mets, it's all about, just staying healthy any way you can. If you can get, 4 of those 5 starters to be playing for the most part this season, the Mets are going to be right back in the playoffs. They will not be a Cinderella story this year. But, even David Wright came out in the news and said it the other day. He talked to his teammates. There's going to be a target on their back.
Oh, absolutely.
And last year it wasn't like that. A lot of teams might have been over.
They didn't know they were coming. Before the trade deadline.
Even a lot of Met fans didn't even see them coming.
No, absolutely not. But before the trade deadline, before getting Cespedes, this was a middle of the pack kind of team. Even with that rotation,
I think it'll be very exciting this year.
I think
for the New
this
York Mets.
year,
them and the Nationals are going to be going back and forth, and I think the Nationals made yet another terrible offseason of signings. They're trying so hard to make themselves a great team. They're spending a lot of money doing it, and I
think
still,
they got better.
I don't think they even got that much better.
I think they got better, at least. I think they definitely got better.
I don't know how you're going to get better when you couldn't have gotten a better season out of Bryce Harper. This guy was unbelievable,
absolutely.
and you still couldn't win games.
Yeah, but they just didn't get the pitching. But we're going to take a phone call. Hey, what's going on? You're on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
What's going on, fellas? How you doing today?
How's it going?
Not that much. Jerry, so you think the Nationals got better is what you're saying, huh?
I think they got a little bit better. I'm not saying, you never know with the Nationals, as Steve Summers might call them, as Steve Summers calls them, the Washington Crashionals. So you never know with the Nationals. But I think they got a little bit better from last year, at least.
Well, you had to have. They were pretty awful last year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to give at least the Mets somewhat of a fight, at least.
What's your prediction over there?
I don't know, man. I don't understand how you can say the Nationals got better when now the middle of their infield is Daniel Murphy at second, who's not very good on defense. They just lost Ian Desmond, and they're replacing him with Steven Drew. They lost their number 2 pitcher in Jordan Zimmerman. Steven Strasburg is a question mark. You don't know what he's going to do after the season he just had. And it's hard to think that Bryce Harper's going to duplicate what he did. I'm not saying he's going to do bad, but I just can't.
Do you think the Mets are going to run away with this division?
Not run away. I think it'll be close for a while, but I don't know. I think.
Well, I think every Met fan will disagree with you with that. I don't think it's easy being a New York Met fan anytime, and it's obviously going to come down to the wire no matter what. The Mets will make it that way, even if it has to come down to it. So that's just how the Mets are. We've seen it season in and season out. It's always a long ride for the New York Mets. They're usually playing until about the last week of the year.
I agree with you. Hopefully we'll have a fun season. We'll see. One more thing I wanted to cover. The All-Star game was last night, and this happens year after year, and I'm getting pretty sick of it. Sasha Vujovic, he's now on the Knicks, I'm sure you know, and he gets snubbed every year. And I'm pretty upset about it. Every year he gets snubbed. He's a great player. He deserves more recognition than what he gets. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable off the bench for the Knicks, and obviously the Knicks are so effective this year with him. So I'm kidding. When it comes down to it, that's the stupidest question I might have ever gotten on this show. And well, thanks for the call, bud. Appreciate your insight.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
It's funny. Got snubbed.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
But as we said, it's Kobe Bryant's last. It was his last All-Star game, his 18th, and when you think about it, 18 out of 20 years in the league, it's insane. But from one legend at the end of his career to another, we have some reports
Relax over there with the Kobe Bryant talk, all right?
Don't even give me that.
Relax a little bit.
We have some reports that came out yesterday about Peyton Manning. You'll hear it next on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Cyberstation USA is the future of radio. Get your business into the online future at the world's largest internet radio station. From banner placement on our homepage to any of our broadcaster stages, commercials on our video player, audio spots on any of our shows, or at the beginning of any of our on-demand broadcasts. Cyberstation USA offers competitive rates with a worldwide reach. A fully integrated one-stop shop social media broadcast platform. For more information, please contact our sales department at cameo@cyberstationusa.com.
All Noise Radio. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Monday on Zeno Radio and re-airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Cyberstation USA and the Stitcher app. You can also tune in every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports, or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com, or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. We are back. And remember, folks, in this day and age, social media has become such a pivotal part of people's lives. Well, now there's an app called Overtime that brings sports and social media together.
It allows you to post photos as well as video of all sports-related news and highlights. It gives you the access to debate all sports topics with other sports fanatics, as well as giving you a platform to break sports news yourself.
Go to the iTunes App Store to download Overtime, an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. We were talking about the NBA. And we want to go right into the trade rumors. I mean, these talks have been unbelievable. They've been heating up. You got talks left and right about Dwight Howard. Honestly, a lot of the Rockets players are in the mix right now. James Harden. Obviously, the Rockets are not playing that well. Didn't Kevin McHale get fired already?
Yeah, but you heard what happened with supposedly before the All-Star break. Dwight Howard and James Harden actually met with I don't know if it was ownership or, the GM, whatever it was. They hate playing with each other, period. They hate playing with each other. I'm expecting – I don't know if you're going to be able to trade Dwight Howard right now. Do I think he's going to be on a different team next year? Do I think he's going to get a max contract? I don't know about a max contract. I don't know who's going to want to give him a max contract. But
you could have said the same thing about DeAndre Jordan, and then he throws out the threat of leaving, and all of a sudden teams are willing to pay the money, which is unbelievable because you can't hit a free throw.
Yeah.
So if you can't hit a free throw in the NBA,
he's really got nothing but a slam dunk, just a dunking ability.
It was funny.
It
was funny what Charles Barkley had said about DeAndre Jordan. Actually, I just want to go off topic a second, but he said if you put DeAndre Jordan in a gym for an entire night, he might score, and he can't dunk.
Yeah,
that's what he wrote. That's what he said. He said he couldn't dunk. And stuck him in the gym for an entire night. He said he'd finish with like 6 points, which I thought was absolutely hysterical. But what's funny at the same time?
It's the truth.
It is absolutely true. I mean, he really has no jump shot at all. He's got the height, he's got the strength, which obviously you need for the rebounds. I mean, guy gets 15 boards a game. That's what each player has a role in the NBA, and it's always been about that.
Yeah.
But when your role is starting to detriment the team because you can't hit a free throw, you can grab the 15 rebounds, but you're going to get fouled 15 times.
Yeah.
When you touch touch the basketball,
well,
you're obviously going to, you're becoming a problem for your team. And when it came down to it, that was a big problem last year. All of a sudden, the offseason came along, and there was that whole mix about the Mavericks getting into play and how he was going to meet with the Mavericks, and the Clippers came in again, talked him into coming back. It was a mess. The same thing's going to go for Dwight Howard. He's going to talk to a bunch of different teams. One of them is eventually going to sign him to max money. Well, I'm going to laugh at that particular team, to be honest.
Right now, one of the the rumors going around today was that Dwight Howard deal being discussed for Hassan Whiteside from the Heat.
I don't understand why the Heat would want to do that. This is a young center that you're paying no money to right now. Unless you're getting Harden in that deal or a couple of draft picks, there's no reason to make that trade.
The thing is, Hassan Whiteside is a free agent after this year. So from what I'm hearing,
that's honestly a man that deserves max money. You'd rather pay max money to Dwight Howard than Hassan Whiteside. Then you know what? I'm sorry, Miami, but your management is a little off right now.
I think it's mainly to get Dwight Howard on the team this year because I think no matter what, he's going to be a free agent next year. I believe that
just makes no sense.
I believe that's how it is. But you know what?
It makes no sense.
But in a way, it's the same thing. Like
I'm pretty sure. I'll be honest. Those talks will quiet down.
But I'm just saying it's most likely that they're going to lose Hassan Whiteside at the end of the year anyway, and they'll probably lose Dwight Howard as well. So. Maybe they think that Dwight Howard is a better fit right now for the Heat to maybe make some kind of playoff run.
Another big talk. Well, let's just get away from this because this makes no sense.
But actually,
it really just doesn't.
Blake Griffin is actually actively.
Well, of course, the management obviously is not happy with Blake Griffin and how he reacted. I mean, Blake Griffin's the kind of player I would love to see on my team.
But after this whole
is a guy that wants to get out there and wants to play. I have no problem with Blake Griffin. He's an effective
I have a
player.
problem with Blake Griffin. I'm not a big Blake Griffin fan at all. But
he came to the Lakers. You're gonna hate him?
What?
He comes to the Lakers. You're gonna hate him?
I'm not gonna hate him. I just don't like his game.
He's an effective player.
I just don't like his game.
He's an effective player. I mean, I didn't like it in the beginning either. I thought he was just a showcase and a lot of dunks, but he has worked on that outside shot. His free throw shooting is very good. And when you're that tall and you can hit free throws, that's somebody I want on my team every time.
After that whole incident where he broke his hand punching, a trainer or whatever he was, the Clippers right away said that they weren't going to get rid of him. And now all of a sudden, the Clippers are actively trying to. Of course,
it's just rumors. The next one is the one that's making me absolutely hysterical. Ricky Rubio needs to leave Minnesota immediately and for rightful reasons. He has not been good at all this year. He is a big problem why the Minnesota Timberwolves have not been a good team this entire year. I mean, they have a lot of talent on that team.
They do. They're going to be a team.
Look what Karl Anthony Towns was able to do in a skills competition.
Oh, I know.
He is an incredible player.
He's a center, power forward, center, whatever you want to say.
And that guy Dang that played for Louisville, he's a very good player too. They got Pekovic. They have a lot of size. They got guys like Wiggins. They got the dunk contest champion Zach LaVine, also the MVP
of the Rising Star Challenge.
They have a lot of great players. It's just they don't have a point guard that can dish it off to these people. And I think right now Rondo would have been a great fit for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh,
and Ricky, and it's so funny. I looked at the draft results too. Oh my God, it was so brutal. The Minnesota Timberwolves had 2 draft picks before the Golden State Warriors, who picked up Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And they decided to go with
a lot of people. There's a couple of teams.
Well, if you're going to question the size, they picked up 2 point guards in return.
No, I know.
So if you're questioning whether or not the size was there for Steph Curry, that's the stupidest knowledge because there's no way Ricky Rubio was any bigger.
I'm saying it's not just Minnesota that passed up on Steph Curry.
They passed up on him. No, they passed up on him twice. They picked up Johnny Flynn, who I have not even seen in the NBA.
I think he played 1 year.
And Ricky Rubio, with their 2 picks, they picked him 5 and they picked him 6.
Ricky Rubio has had, decent seasons, other than getting hurt. Like, he's been hurt mainly
He has been absolutely
year,
awful. He's been absolutely awful for them this year.
But
awful. A lot of turnovers.
The other
who would you rather have right now? Steph Curry, Minnesota's going to the NBA Finals, hands down this year.
Steph Curry on any team, that team's going to be somewhere.
You're absolutely right. No, I agree.
I'm just saying. But the big trade rumor that was around, especially our area in the New York area, is obviously Carmelo being rumored to be in a 3-way trade involving the Cavaliers and the Celtics, and Kevin Love also involved in it, going to the Celtics, which in a way the Celtics would be getting a pretty good deal in this. Probably only giving up draft picks.
You know what's funny?
You get a big man though.
You're sitting there going, they're only giving up draft picks. I don't think you realize the kind of draft picks they have right now.
But I'm just saying.
This is a team with 30 wins right now.
Yeah.
That is sitting there with the draft picks of the Brooklyn Nets, who are going to be lottery picks.
Oh, I know.
So these are the draft picks they're giving up. They're not just
They're probably
giving
not
up.
going to give up that.
They probably will have to pick up someone like Kevin Love. You have to. That's the kind of draft picks they're talking about.
But
you think the Knicks are going to take
between a three-way deal? Picks can come from any team. Like a team can get picks from another team. So I don't know if they're going to get rid of their picks that they have.
If they want to get
at least maybe their own.
If they want to pick up a player like Kevin Love, and if you think Carmelo Anthony is going to leave New York for anything less,
if they eat his contract though, if they eat his contract and take in his contract, there may be a chance that that the Cavaliers will pull that off. Kevin Love is getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah, he's a max contract player. So is Carmelo Anthony.
But there was also another trade. I don't know if anybody heard about it, but I read something about it from a pretty good source. It was Carmelo was actually rumored to be in a deal with the Heat. That was a deal that I heard through a very big source, at least. But I haven't really heard anything about that since. But that's something to keep your eye on, especially if you're a Knicks fan. They want to get rid of Carmelo. The other reason why they want to get rid of Carmelo is because Kevin Durant is a free agent after this year. Kevin Durant has been rumored to go to different teams. Obviously, the Knicks have been one of those teams to be rumored in with his name. But Kevin Durant has already basically publicly said that he doesn't want to play with Carmelo Anthony. I don't know who would want to play with Carmelo Anthony, to be honest with you. I know you're a Knicks fan and everything. Oh, actually, you're a Celtics fan, but I know that a lot of...
I root for them, though. I like to see the Knicks win.
I know a lot of Knicks fans love Carmelo and everything, but nobody is going to win a championship with Carmelo Anthony on the court for your team.
There's no way any Knicks fans love Carmelo Anthony right now. They're not winning, and they have another significant player in Porzingis, who's young. And to get draft picks in return for Carmelo Anthony, especially the kind of draft picks that the Celtics have, that's the only way they're getting rid of him. I mean, they're not going to get rid of this guy for nothing. I understand he's getting max money, but a lot of players are getting max money.
No, I know.
You're not getting maybe those draft picks with somebody like DeAndre Jordan, but you're not getting those kind of draft picks. A player like Carmelo Anthony is an effective player. Yeah. And there's no way the love is going to come to the Celtics, and teams are going to give up these kind of players for nothing in return. So the Celtics will be having to give up one of those lottery picks. To get a player like Love, you have to.
But, the other thing is, and it was actually a good point. I heard it on the Hahn and Humpty show. Alan Hahn said if Carmelo basically ends the deal, because he has a no-trade clause, if he cuts off a deal that's in place, then you can obviously see that he just wants money. He wants to be the number one player on that team rather than going to a team and being maybe second fiddle to a guy like LeBron James or something like that to win a championship.
LeBron James.
He would rather be a mediocre team but number one on that team.
LeBron James has turned into a different kind of player. And I don't mean it's less effective. I don't mean it's more effective. I'm talking it is a kind of player that, has been dishing the ball, finding ways to get his teammates involved. And right now, there isn't a lot of teammates on that Cavalier team aside from Love and Kyrie Irving. And is this the best trade that you can get for the Cavaliers? I don't think so.
No.
Because the Cavs are having a hard time getting rebounds alone. And, I mean, Kevin Love was a rebound machine in Minnesota.
But he's a different player in Cleveland.
You're absolutely right.
Totally different player.
It's because of the role.
Yeah, and he's not, and that's just not him. He can flourish in any other team, any other scheme.
I know you're an incredible three-point shot, Kevin Love. We all know it, but you need to be under the basket. This is your role for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and right now he's not doing it. He's sitting at the three-point line a lot. I've watched some of their games, especially against the Knicks and the Celtics. This guy's sitting at the perimeter a lot, trying to see the ball in the perimeter, and you got players that are out there for a reason. Guys like J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James. These are perimeter players. They have enough of them. So, is Kevin Love the right fit? I mean, you look at the Celtics and what kind of offense they run. Guys like Kelly Olynyk, and they find a way to do it, are shooting threes left and right. Yeah. So, maybe it's a good fit.
NHL is past the All-Star break and down the stretch to the playoffs. We'll discuss how the season is shaping up on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. The Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Monday on Zeno Radio and re-airs every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Cyberstation USA and the Stitcher app. You can also tune in every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports, or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call into 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Cameo Entertainment Group and Cyberstation USA are now part of Stitcher, a free radio app for your smartphone. With Stitcher, you can listen to live programming as well as archive radio programming right on your phone. To obtain Stitcher, just go to the App Store for your particular phone. Go to search, then type in Stitcher. That's Stitcher, S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. Then download. It's that simple. Stitcher, a free radio app for your smartphone. Convenient access to live and archived Cyberstation USA programming on your mobile phone. That's Stitcher, S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. Cyberstation USA, always on the go.
All Noise Radio. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
I used to be the kid that no one cared about. That's why you have to keep screaming till they hear you out.
We are back. Remember, you're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. We're going to get into some hockey news. Obviously, a lot of people like to hear about hockey. There's a lot of hockey fans out there, but, you know, you don't really hear much on other sports radio shows.
Well, I think it's starting to...
It's starting to, but the big hockey, the big sports radio shows, you don't really hear. Like Mike Francesa doesn't like to talk about hockey. Anybody on the
thank God Mike Francesa is like 75 years old and almost retiring because there's not enough room for that. Hockey is, to me, I mean, this is my personal opinion. It's second to football for me. I mean, I'm a very, very big hockey fan. To the second my father took me to my first game when I was, 3 years old, I've loved the game. I think it's an exciting game. I think it's just back and forth hitting and, great plays and, creation, just trying to be able to create. It's incredible. It's an incredible game. I'm a big fan. And you ask any hockey fan around, it's a fun game to play. It's a fun game to watch. It's just exciting all around. But, for the NHL right now, the NHL All-Star break, most leagues, it's usually around the midpoint of the season. And for me, I've realized it's way past the midpoint season for the NHL. They're at about 60, 70 games, close to 60, 65 games now for each team. We're getting close to that point where the playoffs are coming down to the stretch and a lot of big games for a lot of teams. Rangers obviously finding ways to win a lot of games right now. They're trying to solidify their spot into the playoffs. The Capitals have basically all but clinched. I mean, they have records for most, the shortest amount of games for a certain amount of points. They've been doing it for over like 2 or 3 weeks now. So, obviously the Devils are making a great push. There's a lot of close action going on just with the East alone. The West is just as equally tough. Teams like, it's crazy because teams a lot, go back and forth. Montreal had one of the best starts you can ever imagine. They had a better record than the Capitals at one point in the season, and now they're way out of the playoff race. Carey Price obviously going down with injury, one of the most effective goaltenders in the league. He's been in the league since he was about 19 years old, and he's just gotten better and better and better for the Canadians. With hockey, it's a back and forth game. They've changed the rules, tweaked the rules around a little bit, trying to eliminate injuries. Concussions are still a big problem, like every other sport. Obviously, a collision sport like that, you're always going to deal with the concussions. They've come up with the hybrid icing to take away the collisions down the ice because guys were skating,
I don't like that it's a judgment call, though.
Well, yeah, it had to have been done, though.
No,
I think it's a great decision for the NHL to take away from that. You obviously they've taken away a lot of injuries because there was a lot of injuries with it.
Yeah.
Two guys colliding onto the boards at that speed, the worst can happen. And
right now, I mean, the season is kind of shaping up. You're looking at, the Metropolitan Division. Like you were saying, Washington really has taken that and ran with it. It's not even close.
Yep.
But, the Rangers, Devils, and Islanders are all bunched up together. And this is the first time in a long time, that you see all three teams playing somewhat decently through the season and this far into the season, really. You have the Rangers at 70 points. You got the Devils at 65 and the Islanders at 64. But, games in hand, the Islanders are 3 games behind the Devils and 2 games behind the Rangers. So, the Islanders are right there with them. But we're going to take a phone call. Hey, what's going on? You're on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, guys, this is Harry from Huntington.
How's it going?
Hey, I just wanted to touch back on the Mets. The caller brought up before, they're looking good this year, but what do you think about that bullpen, though? They got Familia. Bastardo was a big pickup. But, aside from, Blevins, no one really else over there.
Well, Blevins, before getting hurt, actually was having a pretty decent beginning of the season. But it's a big loss for to have that player, that idiot Henry Mejia, that actually just got a lifetime ban. That would have been nice to have him into that bullpen as well. But
down the stretch, at least.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, though.
But
I think when it comes down to it for the New York Mets, we talked about injuries and with their starters, they're going to need a lot of work out of these starters. And, obviously there should be no cap on any of these players aside from Zach Wheeler, but you're talking the 5th starter out of 5 really effective starters that you're going to have.
But he's not going to have an innings restriction because he's not going to be back until June or July.
I think they're going to still be very careful with him. This is a young arm.
Oh yeah, you definitely got to be careful.
What happens is with the New York Mets is the injuries are just so important. You need to stay away from the injury bug. Guys like Matt Harvey and Syndergaard and DeGrom, these guys need to stay healthy. They need to be pitching a good amount of innings. All of them need to be 200-plus innings this season, and that's a lot of innings to have out of your starting rotation. But that's the only way you're going to have to try to limit that bullpen if the Mets want to really consistently win this season and make get another playoff berth. And like we've talked about, the Nationals I haven't seen anything significant to make the Nationals a better team. Philadelphia, you could just laugh at right now. Atlanta's gotten a little better. They might be a little effective, but I really think the Mets should have a decent chance to win this NL East crown.
Yeah, definitely the favorite. Yeah, you got to say that.
Bullpen or no bullpen. I think the starters will be really effective. I think the hitting's very similar for the New York Mets. The Mets should have a very good season.
The only time the bullpen's really going to come into play is in the playoffs, and that's what kind of hurt them in the World Series. Obviously, with Familia, I think he blew 3 saves. So that's going to be.
Well, it was his first ever World Series. You got to remember
I understand
that comes into play at all times.
Well,
man. The nerves are there. We're all human beings. Despite the fact that you see some of these guys and the way they play the game, they don't seem like human, but they are all human beings. We all have emotions, and it's not easy to pitch in the World Series. Mariano Rivera, they really aren't. I don't think I've ever even seen anyone even come close to something like that. So it's very, very hard to pitch, especially clutch innings like that in the 9th inning. But I think for the Mets, I think they really need to, think about even bringing out someone like Matt Harvey in the 9th if they have to. I'll be honest, it just comes down to it. These guys are just so effective. They throw so hard. And Syndergaard was hitting 100 in his bullpen appearances. So, the Mets, when it comes to these starters, they really are just I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I've been watching baseball for a very long time now, easily 15 to 20 years now, and I've never seen a team with the 5 starters that the New York Mets are going to throw out there in 2016-17.
What about the bullpen that the Yankees have?
16, what?
What about the bullpen that the Yankees Yankees have. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, I absolutely not. So, I mean, when it comes down to it for with the Mets, the bullpen, obviously it'll be something on the back of every Met fan's mind. But, if these starters come out and start throwing eight innings consistently, especially in the early going, 5 starters throwing 7 to 8 innings a game, I think the bullpen will definitely be on the back of a lot of Met fans, heads. I don't think it'll be really.
Guys, huge fans. I've been fans since the day I was born.
There you go.
And just one last note. If any of you guys has given that punishment for your fantasy league, I'd just say take it easy on the guy, all right?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. Yeah, we'll put it into consideration.
Thank you, pal.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, I mean
that's definitely a question mark is the bullpen that the Mets have. But going back to hockey, obviously me and Kevin are watching the Islander game as we speak right now.
Yeah, Islanders on a power play.
They are on a power play, and they're really they're playing well on this power play, that's for sure. But we're going to talk about the trade deadlines coming up for hockey, I think, in the next week or two. I don't know if it's the 18th or the 29th. I know it's on a Monday, so that means that the Tom and Jerry Sports Show will have an NHL deadline show where we'll be breaking news as it happens. So if if you're a hockey fan, you want to see, you want to hear about the trade deadline, tune into the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. You'll hear it. There's a couple of trade rumors. There's not as many big trade rumors as you hear in the NBA, but the NHL trade deadline is the best deadline out of all sports.
There's definitely a lot of big plays made, but it's because the way the contracts are in the NHL, you got restricted free agents, unrestricted free agents, and basically NHL players have the freedom.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the NFL, you got the franchise tag, stuff like that. With the NHL, guys like Steven Stamkos that might be going somewhere next year. I mean, this is a very talented player, and in the NHL, it is very difficult to find raw talent. Yeah. It really has been difficult. I mean, I'm an Islander fan for years, and before John Tavares came into play, you couldn't even imagine having a player like that. Yeah. I mean, you look at the Rangers; they're going out spending money on a big time player. Almost it seems like every 2 or 3 years.
Absolutely,
they're very rare to find, and if you want them, you're going to have to spend a lot of money. So, and a lot of teams, know this, and when it comes down to it, a lot of these big names, if you're not going to be able to re-sign them. You have to try and get some sort of value off him. I mean, I know the reports now say that Stamkos is not going to get traded by Tampa Bay. That means they're risking losing a talent like Steven Stamkos and not getting anything in return for it. That's their own choice. They also have they have a lot of good young players, Tampa Bay. They are a very, very good team.
Yeah.
And someone like Ryan Callahan, who, has been unbelievable.
You could see one of the young players on that team you could see going is Jonathan Drouin. He's been a big name in trade rumors, basically since the beginning of the season.
That might be just one less guy that they have to worry about signing.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
And I'll be honest, he's going to have a hard time finding a lot of money anywhere because of the way he's been acting, the way he's just been throughout the entire procedure right now. This will draw a lot of teams off of him. No matter what kind of talent you have, if you're going to be a problem, the second you get dropped down to the second, third line, or you get dropped down to the AHL to learn a lesson, because I'll be right now, even for the Islanders, you look at someone like Ryan Strome. He's a top 5 draft pick. A lot of Islander fans were looking forward to a player like this, and he was having a very crappy start to the season.
And they sent him down.
They sent him down to meet. This guy was a number 1 lineman getting sent down to the minors within a month.
Yeah.
And now he's back up there, and he's back on, and he's been playing more effectively day in and day out because he understands the big picture.
He understands that it could be over with a snap of the finger.
Absolutely. You need to earn your ice time, and that's how all NHL players are. And I think that's a lot of people respect about the game is that, there's a lot of talent in football, but, we see a difference. But there's a lot of guys in the NHL same way that are looking to get that, that invite to the big ball club. I mean, that's why you're playing in, these minor leagues for, there are guys that have been there for years.
Yeah.
There are guys that are enforcers because, let's be honest, they've taken fighting out of the game a lot. And the NHL has really strongly advised that too, which is kind of funny as well. But, even yesterday, you've seen in the Rangers and Flyers, these teams were going to go at it. You knew that because of the McDonough hit on by Wayne Simmons.
Yeah.
In which case, even the the coach for the New York Rangers was very disappointed with the NHL not suspending him for the hit and stuff like that. You knew fighting was going to occur between these two teams, which is fun to see here and there. I mean, it's nothing like the NHL the way it used to be. Guys like Wayne Gretzky wouldn't even get touched because there was about 3 and 4 enforcers on that team that really didn't even know how to pass a puck, but they could fight.
That's the nice thing about the Islanders, though. You have those guys that if anybody touches John Tavares, someone's getting their teeth out.
Well, John
knocked down their
Tavares has
throat.
shown that he is the kind of player that could stand up for himself. You see the
Oh, yeah,
attitude
he
come
is.
out in him. I really like the kind of player John Tavares has turned himself into since the 18-year-old kid that we saw his first year. He has gotten bigger. He's gotten faster. He's gotten better.
Yeah,
which is hard to explain.
he was soft in the beginning.
Of course, he's a young kid. I mean, everybody, even the guys.
And I mean, the biggest difference, and we're gonna get back into this when we get back, but you'll hear the biggest difference that I think in John Tavares' game when we get back. Pitchers and catchers are reporting at the end of the week. Baseball season is finally here. We'll discuss baseball when we get back. Even though we spoke about the Mets, we're gonna talk about the Yankees when we get back. Keep it locked to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
This is the evolution of radio.
Cyberstation USA.
Our inventions change us. They make us think differently.
Something new added to the real world.
The leading edge of evolution.
That development has got to be delivered.
CyberstationUSA.com.
The most sophisticated that I've ever seen.
I'm not sure exactly what the future is, but I'm pretty sure it's not going away.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting founder Dick Robinson.
You know, the media business has changed a lot since we opened our doors in 1964. Now media content is everywhere, on air, online, on the go. More than ever, companies are looking for people to help drive this new media.
At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, you'll get hands-on training on the latest software and equipment in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has placed thousands of grads in broadcast media careers.
It's all about versatility. You see, at a radio station, if you also know how to shoot, edit, and post videos, you become a pretty hot commodity. That's the training you get at Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting with locations up and down the East Coast from Massachusetts to Miami. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com. Connecticut School of Broadcasting, the nation's oldest and largest group of broadcast media schools, redefining training in radio, TV, and new media. Get trained. Get connected. 1-800-TV-RADIO.
All my life, you stood by me when no one else was ever behind me. All these lights, they can't blind me. With your love, nobody can drag me down.
We are back. And we want to go in, we wanted to finish up a little bit with the NHL and what you wanted to say about John Tavares.
Yeah, basically, my biggest thing about John Tavares is his board play. How strong he is on the boards now. I mean, his first year and a half or so, I mean, he would get bullied on the boards where he would fall. You never see this guy get hit on the boards with the puck and actually fall to the ice.
Yeah, there was a stretch even last year where, I was even showing my father, and me and my father are big Islander fans. I didn't see John Tavares go down to a knee, even.
That's what I'm saying.
On the ice for a good solid 40, 50 games. Yeah. This guy is very hard to take down to the ice, and if you're going to take him down, you're most likely going to get called. He is not a flopper. He wants to make plays. He wants to stay on his feet, and he wants to be able to score and, just get points on the board any way possible. The guy's an effective player. I love him. Yeah. We're going to move on to the Mets and Yankees. Pitchers and catchers just reporting. Baseball is on the way. Summertime is on the way for anybody that was dealing with that negative 7-degree weather the other day.
Yeah, well, you had the groundhog, say that it's going to be an early spring, and then all of a sudden we get hit with a, 1 degree.
That's why you take the weather reports from weathermen and not a rodent.
Not even weathermen. They don't even know what they're talking about. But, going on to Yankees and Mets, basically we've had callers call in about the Mets, so we're going to talk about the Yankees this time. I'm on the outside where people, everybody thinks that the Yankees aren't going to be doing that well this year. I think the Yankees are going to be pretty good this year. I think
Who doesn't think that? They're the New York Yankees.
I think that they're going to probably...
Now, hold on.
I think they're going to win the East.
Who doesn't think that?
What?
They're the New York Yankees. You don't think they're going to do good?
I mean,
you think people are thinking that? No one's thinking that.
They haven't played well.
Their bullpen's going to be unbelievable. Their first 2 starters are going to be effective. We have Pineda back. I mean, they're going to be a good team.
I think so too.
They're going to be a playoff team.
As long as we stay healthy.
But that's not even like much of a prediction. I'd rather predict that somebody like, I don't know, like I can't even name a team right now, but predicting that the Yankees are going to make the playoffs isn't really too much of a predicting that the Yankees won't make the playoffs would be a prediction where you're like you're going to have to really show the proof on that. The Yankees are going to be an effective team. That bullpen, wow,
all you have to do
is unbelievable.
All you have to do is go 6 innings for these starters, which is big because the starters have had their problems lately.
Just like we talked about the Mets are going to need to get 7 or 8 innings out of their starters. So are the Yankees, but that's probably not going to happen.
But the Yankees only really need 6.
Yeah, you're right.
The Mets starters may have to go a little bit deeper, but the Yankees, I mean,
you can't put these guys in the bullpen every night though. At the same time.
No, I know that. I know you're going to need your starters to go some decent innings as well, but it takes the pressure off of the starters is what I'm saying. It's like you can really go out there and give it your all without worrying about having to stay in the game and having to pitch this well. So I think the Yankees are going to be a good team. I think my prediction is they're going to win the East. That's my prediction. But
yeah, me too. All right, there we go. There's my bold prediction.
We're going to take a phone call. You're on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. What's going on? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Hello? Dai tu, comodo, sotto lo io. Oro tu ganato, sotto lo to.
Just hang up.
Yeah.
Don't even know what that meant.
Yeah, I don't either. But back to the Yankees. I think the Yankees, like I said, are going to win the East. And I mean, with that bullpen, you could go deep. You really can go deep.
Absolutely. Right now, I want to transfer this over. I want to thank that phone call for just even being able to change the talk right now. I know we just dealt with Sunday being the first Sunday without football, but that does not mean we're going to go Monday without it. And we're going to get into the NFL free agency list a little bit. A couple of big names going towards free agency. Obviously, it's a little early, and the franchise tag is still effective for a lot of teams. And, number one, obviously, Von Miller. You can just throw that out the window. That'll be taken off the board. Franchise tag by the Broncos, almost
Absolutely.
90% sure. Yeah. Josh Norman, even the same thing with the Carolina Panthers. There were reports today of the New York Jets franchise tagging Muhammad Wilkerson. So that brings us to number 4 already.
Alshon Jeffrey.
And it's Alshon Jeffrey of the Chicago Bears. Now, people are questioning whether the Chicago Bears should put the franchise tag on Alshon Jeffrey, and I don't think they should. This is a team that has a lot of problems, and it's not on the offensive side of the ball. And for a team that last year just drafted the wide receiver Kevin White in the top 10 of the draft, considering the kind of defense they were throwing out there every Sunday, this is a team that's going to most certainly go for a defensive player. And Alshon Jeffrey's going to have to go. You can't use the money on this man. I think they need to use free agency to sign some of these defensive players that'll be coming into the draft. Maybe even someone like a Jason Pierre-Paul, that if the Giants decide not to sign him, which they probably won't. They're going to have to get some sort of spark on that defensive side of the ball because it was abysmal. Yeah. And even as a fantasy football player that I like, I love fantasy football. I had anybody matched up against Chicago, I was starting them. That defense was really horrific. So that's something that Chicago's going to have to really get into. I think Alshon Jeffrey being part of that mix is not an answer. This is a man that might have an opportunity on a new team. And if I had a prediction for you for where Alshon Jeffrey's going to go, I'd maybe even say maybe the New England Patriots. Sounds crazy, but they find ways to fit these players, man.
They do, but I don't know if they're going to be able to.
I think that was the biggest problem with New England last year was that they did not have a deep threat. It was supposed to be Brandon LaFell. He struggled hard body. I don't think that Brandon LaFell is going to be a New England Patriot next year.
I don't think so either.
So when he's gone, who's going to take this guy's spot? You got Danny Amendola, who's injury prone. This is coming from a Jet fan. I don't want him to go to New England, but it is a possibility. Carolina is also another possibility for Alshon Jeffrey.
You know what boggles my mind though about free agency. Brock Osweiler is one of them. And Denver is actually holding off contract talks with Brock Osweiler until Peyton Manning makes his decision.
Well, that's why it came out a couple of weeks ago that they wanted to wait until, not a couple of weeks ago, actually it was like maybe about a couple of days ago, that March 9th, I think, was the deadline for Peyton Manning to announce it. That's what the Broncos told him. The Broncos said we didn't answer by March 9th,
but what?
Or we're moving on from it.
So basically, say Peyton Manning comes back and you give him a contract, you're going to tell me they're not going to give Brock Osweiler a contract? What are you going to do after Peyton Manning's gone? Which is only going to be, if he does come back, it's only going to be a year.
I think for Brock Osweiler, it's his decision. It isn't on the Denver Broncos whether or not they want to sign this man. I mean, this guy can go to free agency whether he likes it or not. And does Brock Osweiler believe that he could be a commodity or a hot commodity?
No, I know.
Come free agent period.
And
I don't see it either, but you know what? Teams are going to be willing to pay for it. There are a lot of teams out there that struggle at the quarterback position right now.
I think definitely he would get some, biters on him. But
another player that comes into play, too, that a lot of people aren't talking about, Ray Rice.
Well, yeah.
He's coming back into this league.
I just
and it's
don't
going to
understand.
be this year.
I don't understand how, in the Broncos' mindset, Brock Osweiler should be number 2 behind Von Miller.
I can't believe that Brock Osweiler is still in our conversation right now. I mean, this guy, obviously, for Denver, again, it's very simple.
You have to sign him.
You don't really have to sign him.
Who are you going to have as your quarterback?
Well, if Peyton Manning, that's why they gave Peyton Manning a deadline for that reason alone.
Yeah, but either way, how many years are you going to have Peyton Manning?
I know, but the point is that's what they're holding off on.
See,
if they can get Peyton Manning back, there's no point in signing 2 quarterbacks to that kind of money. Brock Osweiler wants money.
I understand that, but what are you going to do? You're going to pay Peyton Manning just for 1 year?
There's a draft every year for a reason.
And then you have to think about what you're going to do?
I can't believe we're still talking about this.
You have to.
But it's very simple. It's very simple for Denver. Denver's going to wait for Peyton Manning's decision. They're most likely going to sign him. I think he ends up on Denver either way.
Brock?
Yeah.
I think so too, but I think there should not be any thought about it. I think you have to sign this guy.
I think it's more exciting. Well, yeah. I think he's going to go to Denver either way.
I think you have to sign him.
I think March 9th is the deadline. I think Peyton Manning's definitely going to retire. I'm about 90% sure he's going to retire.
No, and especially
they're going to
with
go
the
with Brock
whole,
Osweiler. That's why they gave him a deadline. It's very simple.
Especially with the whole thing that just came out about Peyton Manning. This is the second.
They don't even want to start talks with Brock Osweiler. Brock Osweiler is going to make more money than he should this year. Because he's such a commodity. And he's going to be a need for the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos put themselves in this hole.
That's what I'm saying. There should be no question about it. You have to sign Brock Osweiler no matter what, if Peyton Manning wants to come back or not. Because, first of all, if Peyton Manning does come back and he doesn't show the old Peyton Manning, or he shows the actual age-old Peyton Manning that he just showed this year, Brock Osweiler is going to be in no matter what. You're going to have a backup.
Yeah, bro, I'm about 90% sure they're going to sign him. I mean, you've talked to anybody else, they're going to want to go in.
No, I know.
I think it's more of a commodity with the Ray Rice situation. I'm saying Ray Rice, Houston Texans, all day
But
long.
you have a bunch of running backs out there.
Yeah, Lamar
Miller, Matt Forte, Doug Martin.
I think Doug Martin. These are good names right now. I think Matt Forte is kind of the full pack. I would love to see the Jets with someone like Matt Forte in the backfield. I would love it. This guy does it all, man.
They said the Cowboys are a top 3,
destination.
Team
of course.
Matt Forte.
Even Houston too. Houston has some good blocking up front too. I mean, obviously they had a hard time with their running game, but they didn't have anybody really too effective. I think Ray Rice goes to Houston. I think you see. I think Lamar Miller stays in Miami. I would franchise tag, man. That guy is too talented to walk away from. And if I were to see Dallas with somebody coming in, Matt Forte would seem like a good fit.
Matt Forte,
a guy could do everything. A guy that could play 3 downs for the Dallas Cowboys is somebody they really want.
You know what? It's not just that he's a good running back. He's a good receiving.
I thought Darren McFadden played very good for them towards the end.
Absolutely.
So I don't even know if it's really 100% that this man they go out and sign one.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a must that they go out and get a running back. I think
I don't think they could be willing to pay for it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a running back, but I don't think it's a must. Like it's not like a must that.
I still think the Cowboys, they're going to get enough pressure.
Depending on, I'm going to say this about the Cowboys. Depending on what they do, when is free agency? Is free agency before the draft or after the draft?
It's before.
All right. So now, if the Cowboys do not get a quarterback in free agency, preferably RG3, they don't get that. They're going for they're going for a quarterback in the draft. They get a quarterback like RG3.
You think they're going for quarterback at number 4?
I think they could.
This is a team that's looking to win a Super Bowl this year.
Maybe Carson Wentz or someone like that.
No, I can understand. Tony Romo was probably the one reason why they didn't win last year, and that was the big reason why they didn't win games here, right?
So no matter what, if they end up getting RG3, they do, I would say maybe a Joey Bosa type player going to the Cowboys, or a Ramsey. Cornerback. So it's something like that. But we're gonna continually talk about football all the way up until September. That's
the kind of effect it has on this country, man.
Absolutely, because Roger Goodell has made it so that NFL is talked about every month of the year. You're gonna have the combine coming up. You're gonna have the draft, and you're gonna have OTAs and everything like that. So it's going to be constantly brought up. We're going to talk about hockey, baseball coming up, still basketball going into the playoffs. So we have a lot to talk about other than, football, I guess.
Yeah.
Coming
there
up.
There are other sports.
But, I guess we could take one more phone call. How's it going? You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. How's it going? Hello?
Hey guys, how you doing? I had a quick question for you. I was trying to look at some early college basketball teams for the March Madness tournament coming up, and I feel like I'm pretty stuck. I don't think I remember a year that it's been this wide open. I was wondering if you guys had any early teams that you like going into the tournament.
I'll be honest.
It's so up for grabs.
It really is. This is actually, I wanted to actually talk about this. March Madness is going to be coming up very soon.
Yeah, that's coming up too. So we're going to talk about that too.
There really isn't a team. I mean, you're looking at teams like Duke that are just dropping games at home. I don't even think I remember the last time I ever seen Duke lose a game at home. Virginia looks very good. That's really my pick early on is Virginia. They really do look like a great team. They've found ways to lose games too. It's really been up and down for these teams. Remember, a lot of the home and road games plays a big part.
Yeah.
All these games are at neutral courts come March Madness. I'll be honest. I mean, you talk about how March Madness is usually one of those where even people that don't know what they're doing will find a way to have a great bracket. Yeah. And this could be one of those years where I can almost guarantee you there won't be a perfect bracket this year.
No.
It's just you don't know. It's too close. It's not just one or two teams. It's about 25, 30 teams that are all up there.
Up for grabs.
And another team I love too is Wichita State.
Yeah, I really love Wichita State. But
they're ranked low because they had a lot of injuries early on. But Wichita State is clearly a lot better than they were. They had their point guard, Van Vliet, I think, was out for the first couple of games.
He's their best player.
Well, that's why they lost like 4 or 5 games without him. And he's an unbelievable point guard.
I have to really look at, it coming towards March Madness to really kind of get an idea of who I'm going to pick to win it. But for right now, I mean, it's really up for grabs. This is going to be a fun March Madness, time.
Yeah, you can almost guarantee. Yeah, you can almost guarantee there won't be a perfect bracket.
Yeah,
there will not be a single perfect bracket this year.
No,
promise that.
I really liked Oklahoma, but after watching that recent game against Kansas, I just feel like they could be too exposed down low. I feel like other than Buddy Hield, they don't really have any.
But even Buddy Hield kind of disappeared. Yeah. So
I don't think he's gonna be perfect going down the stretch.
It's gonna be very difficult.
Depending on his shot, I don't think he could sit there and.
When you have to bank on a team's perimeter shooting, I mean, honestly, I've always talked about it. When you're looking at March Madness, one of the biggest stats you can look at, and there we go, I'm giving away my secret, but free throw percentage is so important. If your team can hit free throws, and they have that one guy that's almost 90%, and you really have no choice. You have to go with it because free throw shooting is just so important come stretch time. But thanks for the call, man. Very,
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, so call in when we start talking about March Madness.
Awesome. Have a good one, guys.
All right, have a good one. And that will do it for the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. As I said, we're going to talk about some baseball, football, hockey, everything coming up. Everything's going to be in play. So definitely come listen to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show, especially for our NHL trade deadline show. But I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Be breezy. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Show.